Hey everybody, Justin here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a quick look at and showing you how to install the front strut and spring assemblies along with the matching rear shocks fitting all 2011 through 2014 V6 and GT Mustangs. Now you should be considering this very affordable kit if you're looking to replace some higher mileage or blown out shocks and struts to get your S197 riding like new again, offer right around that $400 price point. So right off the bat, these options we're featuring here today will strictly be an OE style replacement as opposed to something that will deliver maybe a firmer ride quality or a lower ride height. Now with that being said, this might be the perfect option for S197 owners looking to possibly return their ride back to stock again for whatever reason, or possibly replace some higher mileage blown out dampers with a brand new set to get your S197 riding comfortably again, and doing so affordably and easily thanks to the complete and ready to install front coilover setup. Now this is going to be the overwhelming theme that I personally saw in the customer review section from fellow S197 owners who have installed this kit. And so what I'm going to tell you guys is definitely read up on some of those reviews if you haven't done so already. Always a great way to get some feedback from owners who have actually pulled the trigger and installed these parts on their car. Now moving into construction, and you're going to find that the shocks and struts are manufactured from heavy duty steel before that black powder coat is applied to help with corrosion resistance. Now the fronts again do include a pre-installed coil spring, as you can see. No real word on the exact spring rate here, but I would imagine it's very close to the stock rate on your S197. Finally guys, the fronts do also receive brand new strut mounts on top, reassembled, making this complete and ready to rock right out of the box without the need for any additional spring compressors. Finally guys, the kit is backed by a 2-year or 24,000 mile warranty in case you run into any issues. Price point for the kit will hover around $400 here for everything, which again, for a pretty complete kit such as this, I would say is pretty reasonable overall. But as always guys, feel free to check out the rest of our suspension category here at AM, just in case you were looking for something that was a little bit more performance focused instead of strictly an OE replacement. Now moving into our install, and the site's gonna call this a solid 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, taking you at least an hour to complete from start to finish. But now to give you a better idea of what you're in for at home, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Tools required for this install include a couple different size impact guns, a ratchet, 10 and 18 millimeter wrenches, an extension, 10, 13, 15, 18, 19, and 21 millimeter sockets, 15 millimeter swivel socket, and a pry bar. What's up guys? Today we're installing replacement struts and shocks on our Mustang. First we're going to watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove your factory front strut, and I'll meet you back in the rear for the rest of the uninstall.
First thing we're going to do in our uninstall is we're going to start by removing the 4 nuts up top. We're going to leave 2 tight. We're going to come back down and remove 2 bolts here that hold the strut in, a 10 millimeter we have here for the brake hose, a push clip, and then we'll be able to remove the strut, take it over, put it on our spring compressor, and then install our new spring, and then come back and install. So we're going to jump into it by starting by loosening the bottom bolts, the 10 millimeter and the 4 up top. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take my 18 millimeter, put it on my sway bar nut, and then my 8 millimeter on my 3/8 gun, and I'm going to remove this nut and remove our sway bar link from our strut. Now we have that out, we're going to remove our 10 millimeter down here that holds our brake line in place. Next we're going to remove our push clip right here. I'm going to take my clip removal tool, get behind here, pop this out like that. Then we're going to take our 10 millimeter on our gun, remove this bolt here for our brake hose. That'll get our brake hose out of the way. Next, we're going to take our 21 millimeter, remove this nut here and this nut here. This holds our strut onto our spindle assembly. I'm going to take my 21 millimeter on my 1/2 inch impact gun and break these 2 nuts loose. I'm going to pull one of them out, leave one in for now, and then we'll go up top and remove our 4 bolts holding the strut into the shock tower. So next step is we're going to remove our 4 13 millimeters up the top. I'm going to take my 13 millimeter on my 3/8 electric impact gun, remove these 4, and then we'll be able to get back down and pull the strut out and remove the last bolt. So I'm going to leave that in just for now until I remove the bolt down there, and then the strut is just about ready to come out. So next step, I came in here, I'm going to grab that bolt that I left in, pull that out, pull the spindle down from the strut. I'm just going to lift it up, take off the 13 millimeter that I left on up top, and remove the strut from the car.
So to remove our rear shock, first thing we gotta do is hop in the trunk. We're gonna pull our side trunk liner back to expose that nut on top of our shock. Take a 15 millimeter socket and remove that nut. Then you can remove that washer and grommet as well, and we'll go back underneath. Next, we're gonna remove this 15 millimeter bolt for our sway bar end link so that we can slide this down a little bit to get access to our lower shock bolt. Take a 15 millimeter socket, pop that out. Now I'm just gonna grab a wrench and get it behind the head there, then reverse it to help me pull it out. Now once you have your end link bolt removed from both sides, you can swing this down and out of the way and we'll get our lower shock bolt. Next, we're gonna take a 15 millimeter swivel socket and remove our lower shock bolt. Our flag nut fell out, and then we'll just push our bolt through. And then we can remove our shock, do the same thing on the other side. So now we're ready to install our new rear shock. Now the bushing that has this post on it is going on the bottom through that hole, and our wider bushing is going to be going inside the trunk. So I'm going to slide this up into place, and then we'll get our lower shock bolt in. Now with our lower shock bolt in, we're gonna get that flag nut. You want that in between those 2 posts, and then we're just gonna thread that in a little bit before we start tightening it down. And then grab your 15 mil swivel socket and tighten it down. Next, we can swing our sway bar back up into our mount. And slide your bolt in. And then grab your flag nut, thread that in, and then we'll go up and tighten that down. Now we can take a 15 millimeter socket and tighten down our end link. And now we'll lower this back down, pull our pole jack out, and get our bushing and nut installed on top of our shock. Now we can put our bushing and washer on top of our stud there, thread on our new nut, and then take a 19 millimeter socket and tighten it down. So now with our factory strut removed, we're ready to install our new one. So I'm going to get this into our upper strut mount and thread on our new nuts. Now we're going to reconnect our knuckle to our new strut. We've got our 2 bolts that are going in from the back of the car towards the front. And then grab your nuts, thread them onto the other side. Now take your 21 millimeter socket and tighten down those nuts. Now if your bolt spins on the other side, grab an 18 millimeter socket while you tighten down your nut. Next, we can reattach our brake line bracket to the back of our strut. We'll reinstall that bolt, washer, and nut. And then I'm going to grab my 10 millimeter socket and wrench and tighten that down. And then we can grab this clip and push that into the bottom of our strut. Next, we can reinstall our sway bar end link. I've got a pry bar on my sway bar. Pull it down a little bit to get that in place. And I'll thread that nut back on. And now I'm just going to grab an 18 millimeter socket and a wrench on the backside to hold that stud and tighten that down. And now lastly, go up top with a 13 millimeter socket and tighten down your upper strut nuts. and then you can repeat that process on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the front strut and spring assemblies with rear shocks for your 2011 to 14 Mustang GT and V6. Thank you for watching, and for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.